our fourth host is currently trapped on a subway right now. So honestly, if you want to be our fourth host until he gets here for X amount of minutes, I mean, it's totally up to you. But
Sure. You're talking to Tracy, right?
I'm talking to Tracy.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
There you are. Oh, I thought we'd have to do the show without you, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Podcasting will be a thrill. Grandpa and chill, grandson and friends. Podcasting Grandpa and chill will be a thrill. Grandson and friends. With your hosts, Grandpa Bart and Brandon Fox, Finest Jackson and Sierra Dawes. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Hi everybody.
Oh,
I'm Brandon Fox. This is another episode of Grandpa and Chill. Our usual co-host will be here in a little bit, the amazing Finest Jackson. But in the meantime, I'm here today with our amazing producer.
Sierra.
Woo! And then our special substitute co-host just for a little bit.
hey, it's Tracy, aka
Yeah,
Bart.
there we go.
Hey.
And as always on the podcast, we have
Grandpa.
there we go. Boom, we're live. So we got a lot of crazy things. This is the first time we have guests on video. And I thought to change up the format a little bit. I've asked everybody to prepare a story, which will dictate the rest of the show. So Sierra, would you mind starting off?
Oh, this is my moment.
This
Okay.
is your moment.
Okay. So, um, one day when I was in 5th grade, I was 10 years old. I was I was in math class and we all got our math tests back and I did okay. I think I got like an A or a B. And third of the class is crying because, when kids are little, they cry when they fail tests. And I'm sitting in there and we're just like the whole class is just the whole day is just, correct your test, get half your credit back. And so then, you got to pull the pages apart, redo the work, look at the problem again, and then staple the paper back together, staple the test back, and then you can turn it into the teacher. And so I finished that, didn't have a whole lot to do. And I was like, no biggie, girl, just get up here, staple this test, and then you can draw or whatever I did when I was 10 and, bored. So I get up to the stapler at like my teacher's desk and it doesn't work, and I try a couple times, nothing. I open the stapler on up and it's jammed. We got like one little fucked up staple in there and it's messing up all the other staples. So I was like, you know what, girl, you are so wise and talented. You can fix this stapler. So I start fiddling with it. I try to pry out that bad staple and I get everything going again. And I'm like clicking it and it clicks in and it looks good. And I'm like, you're so smart. And so then I put my test under the stapler and I went, ka-chunk. And I said, that didn't seem quite right. And so when I take out my test, I take out my hand and I stapled my finger. And it didn't hurt. Like when I did it, didn't hurt at all. Didn't even like, it was like, I just kind of barely felt it. But when I took it out, I realized one, I had stapled my finger, and two, I did not fucking fix the stapler because it was like bent and it was just sticking out like the point, like it didn't fold in. It was just sticking out of my finger. And so I literally looked at it like I was in like Drake and Josh or something. And I pulled my finger out all slow and I just went, oh, just like that. I swear to God, I just like screamed like a little tiny man, 10-year-old man, and I just and I just like screamed like that, and everyone in the class stopped, and then I just like burst into tears because I was scared. I'd never been impaled before, and so my teacher comes over and he's like a jerk, and he was just like, pull it out like this, and I was like, I can't, and so he pulled it out and told me to go to the office, and I went to the office and I was just like crying because I was like, I've been victim of like a serious I've been the victim of serious harm, and so they gave me a band-aid and told my ass to go back to class. And so then as soon as I went back to class, I opened the door and like my tears were like fading away. And as soon as I opened the door, the whole class just erupted in laughter. And I was like, what the hell, guys? And my friend came over and she was like, Sierra, everybody thought you were joking, because I always joke in class. And I was like, no, I stapled myself. I was hurt. And they're like, well, everybody thought you were joking. I realized you were serious. So she also thought I was joking, but then like figured out later. It's like, I realized you were serious. And then I was like, oh no. But everybody else just thought it was really funny. They thought you were joking. And I was like, well, thanks, friends and peers. Really appreciate that. It's gonna stick in my mind forever.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
That was my first question. I was like, are they gonna rub it in, or are they gonna be there for you?
They all thought that shit was funny.
Yeah. Damn.
It's traumatizing.
Wow.
Cool.
Been there.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, Tracy. What's your story?
Well, my story's not funny. Mine is
Oh.
like it's not funny.
Okay.
It's not. It's more like it's real life. Like I don't know. You all don't look old enough to have a grown child. Have a grown child. But this generation, her age group, she's 21, going on 22, and I hope she doesn't hear this and sue me. But they're like disrespectful. And I'm like, is it just me, or is this age group? They totally have no respect for she's not disrespectful. They're just like, I don't know. I guess it is disrespect. I mean, I would be scared if I were her to say some of the things that she said to me, to my mom, and still have my teeth. My teeth are not or anything. So I'm like, how are you getting by with this? The law will back them up versus backing me up as a parent. And then when they go out, and this is not her, but when her age group goes out and does something in the street, the first thing they say is, where are the parents? Well, we're here trying to parent, but if I parent, I go to jail. I actually did go to jail. I went to jail just a couple of months ago fooling with her. So I don't understand where the disconnect, whose fault is it? Which generation caused this? Somebody did something. It wasn't me. It probably was neither of you all, I'm sure, but somebody did something that just, is it the music? Is it the TV? What is it? Because it's not just me as a parent. I know plenty of parents, they say the same thing I do. These kids are like off the rockers, like seriously.
Is she just cutting up, or is she just like comfortable with you?
She's not cutting up, but she's actually a good girl. And actually, she was a contestant for Miss Georgia 2020. Like that's supposed to happen. Well, she shouldn't do it now because we got all this other stuff going on now. But I don't know if she's gonna do it or not. But so she's a pretty decent child. It's just they're like their own people. It's not just her. It's her age group. And I'm like, what is this? You're in a time zone. I have to literally go watch the Waltons to come back to reality. Like I watch the Waltons on repeat. I sit here and I binge watched the Waltons this past weekend because everything besides the generation, everything else happening in the world, you just need to level back off. And I'm like, hey, I can't be the only one like looking at these children with a question mark over my head. Like,
let me ask you.
Go ahead.
Is it 21-year-olds in general, or you're saying this generation that we've got right now of people in their 20s?
This generation of the 21-year-olds in that group. Are you in that group? Right?
This is what this podcast is all about, because we got certified grandpa here, and I'm curious if you've seen grandpa through the generations that it's just gotten worse and worse with these kids out here.
Yeah, I think so. They have less respect. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I really thought he was going to back me up.
Well, they're brought up. They're brought up in a different culture.
Yeah.
Today, yeah. In some ways, they're better, I think, but in other ways, they're more independent.
I agree. Yeah, some ways they're aggressive in what they want, and they know what they want and they go after it. But on the other half of that is that they're crazy. When after 5 o'clock, they go like nuts. Like, I just sit here like
gremlins, just after, like, instead of midnight, it's just after 5.
This is after 5. After work hours, they like thrown out into another whole. They warp into something else. I'm like, What is wrong
it's
with
so weird to me because like I see a lot of footage of the 60s and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, look at all these 30-year-olds doing drugs at Woodstock and stuff like
right?
that.
Instead of
And then they're
smoking
like, oh no, they're like those kids are 15. I'm like, you know,
weed.
so
Well,
yeah,
I'm not in the 60s. I'm in the 70s, but still,
yeah.
there's a
It,
breakdown somewhere down the line. I just
sure. What
I
do
don't
you
know.
think it is?
What am I still doing here? Hold on.
Movies. I mean, music. The people they follow, like the what is the word I'm looking for? Like the Beyonce. Oh God, don't want to say it. Not Beyonce. She's great. Let me take
Yeah,
that
Careful.
back.
Careful.
So bleep it out. But what I'm saying, like the role models is what I'm saying. What they deem as role models now are not role models. They're
Mm,
and they don't understand that the role models are just actually actresses either singing or dance or whatever they do, whatever their calling is.
yeah.
And so they're taking it serious, like this is the way of life to be, that's all I don't have anything else to blame it on.
I can kind of get that. Like when you get like Instagram, like basically like all social media, like anybody can just pop off on social media and become
Yes.
somewhat really popular. And it's
Yeah.
like those like aren't traditional celebrities. Like if you take
Mhm.
Beyonce, for example, Queen, um, celebrity, but she has PR people is like the biggest difference. Like she has someone that she pays on a regular basis to go, girl, that's dumb. Don't do that. Don't do that on camera. Don't do that on recording. Like, don't do that. That's dumb. And
Mhm.
like regular, not like regular schmegular people that just kind of blow up or go viral or are just popular on social media and things, they don't have that inner voice or that outer voice to be like, girl, that's dumb. Please don't, please don't do that. And that's,
Unless they read their comments.
yeah, right. When after it's too late.
Right.
I
Yeah.
thought at
That's
least
the
Tara
point.
would have my back on this one, but
I mean, I
um,
kind of do, and I kind of do, but I also see like there are also some really like dumb people online. I literally
yeah.
just saw a video like a couple hours ago, and I don't remember how I found it, but I just saw it, and it was this person who was, I don't think as old as me, but too old to be doing it, decided to get like some zip ties and zip tie his fingers together,
Mm.
and he put a sparkler between his fingers and lit it on fire. I'm not joking. He lit the sparkler and let it burn through his fingers. It wasn't a challenge to see how close you could get. It was literally a how dumb am I? Let me literally burn my and when it burned through, he cut the tie off and like it literally burned, like there was an incision basically like in both of his fingers, and
Oh
it
my
took,
god.
and then like he did another video where he showed like all the different things that he had to, like it didn't look bad initially, but then he showed like all the stuff he had to do to like heal from it. And then it showed like it looks like he tried to just like let it heal on its own for maybe a week or two, but it was obvious it was going horribly wrong, so he had to get like 2 different skin grafts, and it was
Oh
absolutely
my.
insane. I was like, people dumb, and I don't know, I don't.
It's challenges. They put up these challenges to do stuff and they think it's cool. And they do it for
Yeah,
views and likes and popularity and it thinks it's gonna blow them up in life.
Yeah.
There's
that's
some dumb
something
challenges.
I've never seen from the older generations is all these really stupid challenges that are going on. Like, yeah, I don't. I feel like people, you know, not
It's
millennials wouldn't do that.
it's
Those are
been
just
going
people.
on in fraternities forever.
Yeah, those are
Oh,
just
In fraternities.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the difference now is it's just recorded, right? So there's always
Yeah.
proof.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we run out of time, I want to get to your story, Grandpa. So,
Well, I had a few stories, but I guess I'll do the one. When I was in ninth grade, we had the first day of a science class. They gave all the students a test to see what you knew, and myself and another fellow were exempt from the class because it was a very simple test. We were exempt, the two of us, and we were allowed to work on our own projects in another building. And to get to that building, you had to go through a gymnasium, which had very high ceilings. And the teacher, I can still remember him, Mr. Getty, because he had the same twitch that I have. Um, said, "Now here's a key to the room. Don't lose it because we only have one key." And I was so happy to get out of class that I started throwing the key up in the air, and it ended up on a beam way up in the top of the gymnasium, and we had to get the school maintenance man to get it down. So that's just funny. And then another little incident that I had, I went down to Atlantic City to the Borgata Hotel with three of my grandchildren, Brandon being one of them. And for whatever reason, I guess we were going to meet Brandon's parents down there. And I have a habit of not remembering where I parked my car. And I guess we were coming out of the Borgata, and I was searching for my car. I couldn't find it. We were walking around for 15, 20 minutes. It was very cold that day. And just interestingly, Brandon's father happened to be driving through the parking lot, and he found the car for us because I couldn't find it. And I don't know if that's funny or not, but then another incident, I had the three grandkids at I think it was a Macy's department store, and they were little kids at the time, and they all took off and went in different directions.
Oh,
I
wow.
had a heck of a time trying to get
Round them up.
round them up. Yeah, they went up the escalator, and
That was like the best hour of my life.
You should have told them we're gonna run away. Everybody stay on the same floor because
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
so
Alright,
funny.
yeah.
And I want to congratulate you, Brandon and Sierra, on this having the guests come in on the screen. That's wonderful. But I do have a question. When Finest comes here, how do we work the screen with that situation?
So the screen can fit more than 4 people.
So what do we have? One blank?
No.
Do we have one blank screen?
Oh,
basically?
I'm obscured. I remembered not only like 2 minutes ago to take my face out of the recording.
Yeah.
So
And, I'm
it'll
here.
just
I'm
be
just waiting.
4.
I'm just waiting to be let in.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Finest.
Yeah,
Cool.
hey y'all.
That makes
I just got
sense.
done doing young stuff and trying to make a name for myself. I bought some zip ties on Amazon.
Gotcha.
Ah,
There we
now I-
go.
All right, I got you. Now it
Looks
makes
good.
sense.
Looks
Finest
great.
Tracy,
How's it
Finest.
Hello.
Hi.
Just
How you
doing
doing,
some wild
Finest?
young stuff. I'll just start
Yeah.
trouble, you know.
Said I just got some zip ties.
Tracy's been doing an awesome job.
Oh no, I was listening to it on the way here.
Co-hosting. Yeah.
she did great.
Thank you.
She has a 21-year-old, hot wild,
Yeah.
He's 22 in December.
22.
Tell her to stay away
It's
from them
okay.
zip ties. Well, 22 is pretty, not you gotta be. I think that guy had to be like 17 or something, which is still just too. I don't know.
There's nothing like the validations and the notifications that says that was cool.
And it killed me because the guy, like, the video only had like 12,000 views. Like, it didn't even. It did like nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like you never know. There's this guy. Have you heard of Mr. Beast?
Yeah.
$18 million net worth, and he got his start making a 40-hour video just counting to 100,000. Like that. Like
Wow.
like like it's we live in a really crazy.
No
Wow.
pyrotechnics involved. See how that works?
No. Grandpa, was that the end of your stories?
That's it. And boy, I think you guys, I don't know who's responsible for bringing in the guest onto the screen, which I think is a great thing, but he did a terrific job. I'm not sure.
Sierra, or yeah.
Sierra,
yeah.
I figure, yeah.
Sierra's doing it.
Great job, Sierra. Terrific.
Yeah.
And also one other question I have before we go on. I've been getting these clips that seem like short clips from our sessions. Is that something that you're editing, Sierra? The clips that I'm getting?
Brandon sent 2 in the group chat, but and I did those. Are you getting them from like other people or just Brandon?
No, it's from one of you guys.
Yeah, I put those
His
together.
ex-wife
Like,
Either Brandon
emailing.
or Sierra.
well, I don't know because I just got an email like this morning that said we have 100 downloads on Buzzsprout, which is great. But like Brandon and I have been like, who is downloading these? We didn't share it. I haven't tweeted anything yet on the account. Like we
have
didn't know where these
we have
were
a
coming
super dedicated fan base in France. Actually, it's very cool.
I think there's like
Do you really?
kink for grandpa.
Yeah, for real.
Grandpa still makes you think that like people are like
Yeah.
grandpa and shit.
So
yeah, but I'm off
yeah.
at it. Yep. Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. So we got one more. Well, me and Finest. I think if you got a story, Finest, I'd love to hear it, and then we can really get this rolling.
Do I have a story? Yeah, okay. I'll just tell you a story about today. Um, I went to there's, I'm gonna tell you what. I live in Astoria, Queens, okay? And there's no hair salon or a place to get your hair braided in Astoria,
Damn.
which upsets me, so I have to go to Brooklyn. Um, so they
Wow.
should get some more people. But no, or just more diverse people that can deal with hair in Astoria would be great. But anyway, I go there and I get there really early, like 10, and then the person that's supposed to do my hair is not there, and then I get there like, so then I finally come around 1, and it's this girl's first time in the studio, like in the chair doing box braids and whatever. It took me 4 hours to get my hair braided. It was awful.
Oh my God.
That's
How long
it.
do it usually take?
I don't know, like an hour, 2 hours.
Right,
I,
right.
I've been doing,
We're like,
yeah.
that's it.
That's it.
I guess it's not like I'm getting. I mean, I'm not like, I don't have a lot of hair. You know, I got like box braiding. Like she was just really nervous. I could tell she was really trying to part my hair the right way.
Yeah.
And do all this stuff.
But
But
does it look
man,
nice? Did she hook you up?
He's wearing a hat.
Yeah, let me see.
I wear a hat. I wear a hat because I don't like how it looks when it's first done. But no, it looks okay. It looks, you know.
Let's
It
go.
must be pretty expensive, isn't it? Somebody
Yeah.
spending 4 hours.
And it was
Costly.
very expensive as well.
That's craftsmanship.
Yeah,
But-
right.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Also, black hairstylists should get paid more because they can do not only white people's hair, they can do. I shouldn't have been looking around so much for my hair getting done. You know.
Hmm.
But aside from that, I mean, wait. Okay, is that a story? That's a complaint.
That's a great
Story
story.
is-
That's a story. I
the
learned
story is-
something.
I talked to my hairdresser the whole time. She's doing really great for herself. She's going to school for business, and she's doing her own business from that doing the salon thing. What else?
Yeah, you guys must have had a long conversation. Like,
Yeah, I
really-
found out she lived in Jamaica for a little bit, and moved back up here to Florida, then went to New York, and we talked about Florida, you know, getting covered up with water, and she didn't seem too concerned about it. And yeah, so got a.
Sweet.
Delightful.
I feel like there is a through line actually, like through all these stories. But I'll tell mine first, and then and then I think we should come up with the 2 titles for the episode, and then
We
get
got
the
our
ball
we got
rolling.
our we got a couple guests in the waiting room too. So
Okay, great.
I want to hear this story.
6:55. Yeah. Okay, so this is super quick. My story that I prepared was just when I was a teenager, not to incriminate myself, but I had a fake ID, and I was walking down the streets of New York with my good friend, and a fortune teller was standing outside of a doorway and was like, "Hey, like I think I really need to tell your fortune." And I was like, "Whoa, okay, that's so cool." And she's like, "Okay, like come inside." And she was standing outside of a bar, and I was like, "Okay, like I'll get my fortune told today." And the bouncer like put his hand on me, and he was like, "Give me your ID." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I give the fake ID, and I'm like talking to the fortune teller. She's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be like the best fortune reading. I can feel it." And he turns the ID around and he scans it, and he's like, "This is fake." And he like pushes me with his hand, and he's like, "Get the fuck out of here." And then she said, "Hi," and then walked away and never told my fortune. And I always wondered, like, did she see that coming, or?
That is bizarre.
That's
Like
my story. I still don't know. I guess the fortune is that
He
I
said,
was,
"Did she
I
see
was
it
in a
coming?"
loop.
I did not know they were age gating fortunes.
Yeah.
Fortunate you didn't get arrested.
Right?
Yay! Very lucky.
What
They
the
don't want
heck?
to get rid of your
So-
innocence. You know, if you're at a certain age, you're still innocent at a young
That's
age.
true. Yeah.
Like certain,
I have an idea of a couple titles for the through line. It seems like everybody is like getting themselves into a predicament. That's what I'm gonna say.
Me being the main one.
Predicaments.
getting to predicaments. You know, you were right about Beyonce. I wouldn't have discovered drugs without Beyonce.
I didn't say anything about Beyonce.
Hey,
No.
hey, right,
That was
right.
one of my I don't have Beyonce suit money, so I don't want to be sued. I know
oh, shoot.
nothing.
If
I don't know
Beyonce
nothing
sued
about
me,
that.
that'd be so. I don't know what she would do with. I don't know why she would do that to me.
Beyonce ain't gonna sue you. The Beehive is gonna cut you into
Oh yeah, the
pieces,
Beehive will come knock your door down.
and that mail's and mail it across the country, and that mail's gonna get to where it's going faster than that box. Did you ever get
That's
that
that age
box?
group. That's that
No.
age group I was talking about. The Beehive.
I will
Yeah.
say the Beehives, they're probably petty, but
They are very petty.
I'm not
Really.
afraid.
All right,
I'm sorry. You
What are they
are
gonna
you in
do?
the Beehive?
bro.
I have no social What are they gonna diminish my social status?
I
I'm
don't
so
know,
low.
but everybody on Twitter is scared of the Beehive. Don't nobody with brains bother Beyonce.
That's only afraid of the Beehive because they care about their reputation. I can care less.
All right.
This is the
Okay,
last
I
time we're
say
gonna
that.
see Finest.
Right? The next thing you know, I'm hiding my face. I'm like, oh no.
We just go find little pieces of hair.
Grandpa, do you know the Beehive?
Not really. I know who Beyonce is, but I don't know anything about Beehive.
That's their followership.
That's what they call it, like the Bay. It's spelled like Beyonce, BEY hive,
Ah, okay.
the Beehive.
Yeah.
I wonder what their stance is on bees and how they're being extinct. I wonder if they
On that, Tracy,
Yes, sir.
one last question.
Yeah.
What do you think from all this stories that the theme of today should be?
I like your title. We find ourselves getting into predicaments, strange predicaments, awkward moments,
Yeah.
things like that. Because, yeah, there are awkward moments. We can
Awesome.
agree on that. Yeah.
Awkward moments. I love that. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I so
Thank
appreciate
you.
your
I
time.
enjoyed it so much.
Yeah. Love to have you back.
You're
Please.
delightful.
Thank you. I'm used to doing this.
Sweet.
Do I just let myself out? Show myself the door?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can stay mute. I'm gonna mute you on the clean feed. If you want to keep listening, you can. But I'm
Okay.
gonna take you out the Zoom call.
Okay.
Thanks, Tracy. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Sierra. How are you?
I am great. I'm trying so hard to figure out this technology.
Me too.
Bow. There we go. Ah.
Whoa.
Aha. Oh.
That was
Sounded-
Oh,
that was
okay. Miss
cool.
Studio. All right.
Pardon me?
Karen, how you doing
That's my
today?
new name.
She got a little pop filter. She got a little
Miss-
mic. She got some headphones.
It's
I
in the
see you.
studio.
Am I supposed to press something? Remember, I'm in the grandma area here.
No, you're good. You're golden.
Okay.
You're
No.
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you saw the length of time Grandpa and I spent getting on here, oh boy.
If you saw the length of time my sons had to come in and go, okay, they said don't mute, don't unmute, push the thing back, Mom, just sit. You got it
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Just don't
I love
move,
that.
just answer and shut up. So yeah, so I know.
Yeah. That's awesome. Apparently today we're talking about awkward moments, awkward predicaments. What is it? Yeah, getting yourself into predicaments. So seems to be the yeah. Where are you based out of, Karen?
Oh, we're most people that are really into acting and writing and everything. Burlington, Kentucky. Y'all. Originally from Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You betcha, yeah. So yeah, so I'm a mixed bag. So
Delightful.
mixed old bag.
What got you to Kentucky? From
My
Minnesota?
husband's promotion.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we were here not even quite a year. Left my family, all the whole thing. We were here not even a year, and the company moved to Mexico.
Ain't
Ah.
that how it goes?
Yeah.
So then what?
Then I wrote. Well, it got me out of my comfort zone. I wrote for a newspaper in Minnesota, a couple of them actually. And when I came here, I was like, what do I do now? You know,
Yeah.
I've never been here before. So I started writing books, paranormal books and other books,
Wow.
and some kids' books and things. And it kind of made me push myself out there and do, you know, something different or whatever. But I got all over the state and all over Kentucky and all over Ohio interviewing people for the books. So it was really a great experience. I know a lot more people, I think, here than I did in Minnesota now. So
You talking about like nonfiction?
yes, I've done nonfiction and fiction. I've done Cincinnati Ghosts and Dayton Ghosts, and those are all interviews and photos and info from people that have experienced things. So
Great.
paranormal things.
What are paranormal activity? What is Kentucky like heavy in paranormal activities compared to other places?
I think everywhere is, if you want me to be honest. I've had stuff happen to me my whole life. That's kind of how I got into this. But Kentucky, yes, there's areas that are there's whole towns that are literally like, I can just drive to it and I go, you can just feel it. And then I find out later. In fact, my husband, I was still in Minnesota. He sent me a photo of a house in Kentucky because we had to find a place. I just saw the photo and I said, absolutely not. And it was a beautiful house. It was so cool. I just said something bad happened there. And I find out, yeah, there was a lot of horrible things that happened there, just the vibe and whatever. But I'm sure every place has it. But it's just been interesting meeting people, artists, professors, you name it, that have gone through stuff and they're just thrilled to, tell their story.
Yeah. Grandpa is very, very sensitive with vibes, very good with them. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Casadaga, Florida? Casadaga.
No.
It's a town of all psychics.
Oh, really?
The town, yeah, it's a very interesting town, and
Is it in Kentucky?
it's actually it's in Florida, outside of Orlando. It's actually hard to get an appointment. Pardon,
Do you have to be a psychic to live there? Actually, I think I might have, and they're like the town is lined with them or that kind of thing.
I don't know the answer to that, but I know that there's many of them. There's probably 50 of them in that town. It's
Wow.
kind of it's a very interesting place.
That's the thing, though, too. You got to watch out because psychics can pop up anywhere. I had to be really careful about, who I interviewed and who I had to talk to other people. They said this and I didn't tell them that and they knew it. I kind of had to go through a process. I did the best I could, It's not like
Yeah.
I'm psychic.
Well, you said psychic with quotations. What do you mean? What's the quotations mean?
As in any business, there's charlatans, There's people that will, I'm a
But like-
psychic, give me $50 and they know how to read people. They know psychological cues and things like that. And it can be damaging and wrong and take people's money. That's all they have, like their daughter died or their mother or something like that. But in other ways, it can be help people get through things. So it's a fine line, if they make you feel better or whatever, but I really tried to go with the ones that with the best information, that I could get for it. But it's you do the best you can.
There was a well-known psychic named Dr. Richard Ireland, and I saw him in a show a few times in Palm Springs, California, and he knew things about me that, I never met him, I never saw him. He knew the names of my ex-wife and my children and things that there's no way for a person to know that, and I've always been wondering how he could do that. It's hard to believe that there really is such a thing. But
I think we all have sort of, if you tune into it and I think we block things out. We go through our lives, we do whatever, and it's like, and things might happen to certain people. Some are just more empathic. They're just more sensitive. They notice things about people. I was born kind of that way. My aunt would tell me, and I grew up in Santa Monica. For when she would tell me that you just knew stuff. You're 2 years old. You knew stuff that happened, and and she goes, She called me Faye. I'm like, that's not my name. F-E-Y. But she goes, you were so Faye. You just knew stuff your whole life, So there's different, energies and different things to tune into, and I know it's real, But I also know, just like anything, there's real this and there's real that. But there's also people that just want to cash in on people's, trauma or sorrows or whatever. So, you just kind of have to be careful. But I totally believe with you, Grandpa, on that. Like, I've had people tell me stuff that there's no way they could have known it. They totally knew it, but I accept it. I'm just like, that's cool. I get it. That's cool that you can see that. So,
well, I have like a sixth sense. I can feel living things around me, human beings, animals. I literally can feel them. I don't have to see them or hear them. But that's different than being a psychic. I don't know what anything about a person particularly, other than it's a physical thing that I have. I probably just don't filter out brain waves like most people do.
But do they have the pet psychics. Do you have a feeling like that if a dog is in trouble do you know what I'm saying? Do you get that kind of a thing, or is it just you just know?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I can feel a mouse. I can feel a bug. I can feel anything for fairly a fair distance. Maybe a few hundred yards. I can literally feel everything.
Are you able to tell which it is when you feel that? Are you able to tell
I
that's a
can,
mouse or that's a bug before you see it?
not always, but if the object is moving, whether it be a person or an animal, I'll feel the brainwave move. I can feel it, the movement of the brainwave. Yeah.
Well, I've never had anyone say that to me before. That's pretty cool. You thought about writing a book?
I don't know. I still can't understand whether it's something that I have that's unusual, or a lot of people have it and they're just not aware of it.
Well, you're tuned into it. You know, I think,
Mhm.
like I said, we all have sort of whatever, but you're tuned into that. So I think that is unusual that you're tuned
Yeah.
into it to that extent. That's pretty cool.
It's not something that I can control. In fact, it makes life a little more difficult. But because
I can
I can
imagine.
feel, there's a lot of stresses in society, so I pick up a lot of that. A lot of it is stress,
Very
but
draining.
not all of
Very,
it.
yeah,
Hmm.
that could be
Yeah.
really hard. Want to
Hmm.
tune it out sometimes and not feel it. I totally understand.
Right.
So that's my funny story.
I liked it. I
All
liked it
right,
a lot.
yeah.
I love it.
Do you want me to tell you a story? Do I have time?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got a little bit of time if you.
I have so many that I'm screw up every day. But my latest one was I had an audition on Zoom like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I was like, I have this thing with I can get really stressed out and really like, I mean, I was almost agoraphobic for a while. I'm very shy, that kind of a thing. So why am I doing this? Anyway, so I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm relaxing. I'm not going to freak out, whatever. So I walk up the stairs to come to my office to do the Zoom thing, and I'm like, I can't really see very well or whatever. And I'm like, and where are my pockets? I put my pants on backwards, and I'd rinsed my contacts out, my new contacts. I went to rinse out the thing before. Oh, I'm going to whip up, and I rinsed them out down the sink.
Oh no.
And I had so I had to come up and I'm like, yeah, oh, I'm fine. Yeah. I mean, that's me. Okay. And that's like a daily thing. So I just thought I'd share the latest thing. That's how cool I am and psychic and stuff. Ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. That's such a
Yeah.
mood though.
It's
Like,
okay. You know what? I'm so sorry to interrupt. But I think being, because I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I'm making this statement, but I wrote down airheaded. I mean that like, because I read something about people that like aren't aware of like spatial dimensions around them and stuff like that, like the physical world, so much so, but they're really, really, like you were saying, their minds other places, like their intuitions and their empathies in other places. So I could imagine you being like, oh my God, I left my keys in the door. Because of what you told me. So it makes sense.
That's
All right.
kind of an insult and a compliment at
No,
the
no,
same
no,
time.
no, no. It's just an
Appreciate
observation. You take it as you take that as you want.
Well, now I won't sleep all night.
you're like, this isn't even my plane. Like I'm all the way on this other plane.
That's hilarious. No, it's cool. Also, too, like a question. This is not to be funny either. If you do ever communicate with someone in the afterlife, and this is just my assumption, is that I don't think I would call a ghost a ghost. 'Cause I think it's kind of like a rude. It's like a very like their name is Jeremy. You know, they're not a ghost. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whenever I'm dealing with someone that's in the afterlife, I am so afraid that I'm gonna say Casper the ghost, and they get really upset with me and go, oh, like, that's not my name. Don't call me that. We're not all that.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the truth is, to me, the way I look at it and when my research and stuff is that there are residual hauntings, which basically it is a ghost. It's an
Wow.
energy field that's left over, like when people hear like footsteps,
Yeah.
up in the attic, whatever, every night at midnight. No one, they don't see anyone there, but it can be a residual thing from a fellow that lived up there 100 years ago, whatever. And especially if there's a lot of energy, train accidents, whatever, the screams and things
Yeah.
like that can still be heard, especially on the anniversary of things like this. And that is most likely they're not there, but their energy and the
I see.
horrificness of it is there. But I've had people that I know, my father and my mother, that I felt with me, and yes, they're not a ghost. They're my father and my mother in a
Exactly.
spirit.
Yeah. But they are. So there's a line between
Yes, there's
a ghost
there really
and
are
a
different
person
types
that
of
passes.
hauntings. Yep.
I believe that. No, that's okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got one last question before we let you go. Do you think that the fortune teller inside of the bar, I don't know if you were online for that story.
Yep, I was there.
Do you think that that was a charlatan or someone real? And what do you think of someone trying to give a fortune telling in front of a bar?
I think it was a total charlatan, and she's trying to get you into the bar, and that's how she makes her money.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, she gets paid. That's what I believe. It just she gets how many does she get in by saying that? Then she gets them in.
To the
She
bar
probably thought
itself.
you were of age. That's my
Wow.
gut feeling.
Never even thought of that before. Cool. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're an interesting guest.
Thank you, Grandpa. You are too. You're very interesting. Who knew all the layers?
All right, we're gonna let, I don't even know who's Azumi is next,
What a great name.
right?
And I'm Karen.
No.
Look what they did to
Yeah.
my name. Social media, I'm going to change it. Azumi, go for it. All right, guys. Thanks.
Have a great day.
You guys too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Karen.
Hello, Azumi.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Whoa.
So I should not connect my audio in Zoom, right?
No, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
It's so cool to see your face though, finally.
Like, finally. Yeah.
Yay! Yeah, finally. Nice to meet you
Yeah.
all. I can see all of you.
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, hello. Very
So
good.
good. What have you been up to?
I've been doing some translation work. I cannot disclose the client. It's a big company. Yeah.
What do you
But
translate?
that's like a video. So the big company release a new product in the near future. So they want to have a like an explanation video in each different languages.
Yeah.
And but that's like all very messy. The workflow, it's a giant company, international, so people work all over the globe. So people are in different time zone, different
Oh,
languages.
Mhm.
So communication system is like all messed up, and then they keep asking me the same question over and over again. And
which is?
it's like, did you check that? So they have to finish the video. So the problem is, so they're trying to make the video in Japanese, right? So I did a translation. There's another translator too, but we did the translation of the script, and then I did the voiceover. So I sent them my voice to them. So, but the person, whoever is editing that video and my voice, don't speak Japanese. And they're trying to make a Japanese video, so they have to match the what is going on in the footage with
Right.
my voice.
Yeah.
So they have to know what I'm saying, just to match the timing.
Right.
How can they know that?
That's what makes it even more
great.
messy.
They
Yeah,
have to hire someone who can speak Japanese. It's like,
Yeah.
that is hilarious. That's hilarious.
We got another awkward moment / predicament.
That's
yeah. It's like
It sounds
every
like
day.
yeah. Sounds like your job
But
is really
it is
hard.
a really good job, and pays really good, so I can't really complain.
Sounds cool though. It does sound really cool.
You said that the different time zones. What's the most different time you've been on clock? Like have you been?
So, no, most of the people right now, the people I'm communicating are either in Eastern or the Pacific. So the weird thing is, so I'm in New York Eastern time, and the person the person who's organizing, managing us, like a kind of like a supervisor guy.
Mhm.
I think he's in West Coast.
Mm.
So that means he usually started working around noon my time, right? And then they started working late. For me, it's late, right? They started working at noon, and they just want to go like really
I
late.
see.
So
Yeah.
they still keep sending me the emails like after 11 p.m. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna work after 11. No,
No.
it's too late for me.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and then also I have like a job with Japanese client. That's a completely different job, but I have to talk to someone who's in Japan. That means like complete opposite.
Yeah.
Here, night, there, morning.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes I have to wake up like really early, or sometimes I have to work like crazy hour, like midnight to 5 a.m. or something like that.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Grandpa?
No, I just forgot where Azumi is located. Where you're actually
Oh,
located.
I'm in New
where
York.
in New York. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
With all the,
Yeah.
Have
yeah,
you
go
ever
for
done
it.
any interpreting for banks? I know they sometimes have interpreters.
No, banks, no. I never done that. It must be really difficult, right? Contracts and all that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
No. To go towards the theme of today, have you ever gotten yourself into any crazy predicaments or awkward moments that come to mind as I say it?
Yeah, I was thinking about it while I was listening to you guys. Yes, I have one story, and I have to be careful because this happened not so long ago, and I have to be careful not to reveal too much info
Yeah.
because this is
Yeah.
really awkward. Not for me, but for the other person I'm talking about.
This is
So,
gonna be good. I'm excited.
okay, here's the thing. So, there's one guy who asked me my pee
Your ex, your
because
what?
pee.
Ex,
He wants
PEE?
my pee.
Your
Oh,
Pee.
urine.
oh
Your urine.
no.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
Okay.
no.
No
Okay.
wonder we didn't understand what you were saying.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
This
Okay,
is
go ahead.
crazy,
All right,
right?
finish. I'm so sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
But there's a reason behind it. He's not a crazy pervert. So,
Okay, you got to do some work then. Come on.
Yeah, let's
so this person is a med student. He wants to be a doctor,
Okay.
right? But he started late, so he's like 30 something. So he graduated other college long ago, and then he decided to switch the career or something, and so he went back to the school again and to trying to be a doctor. So as a doctor, like a student doctor, you have to go to the hospital to the training, right?
Yeah.
I
Rounds.
don't know what it's called, but you have to go to like those training is usually like a 2-month cycle. Some of them are shorter, like they finish like OBGYN 1 month, or surgery 2 months or something like that. They have
Yeah.
to go over the routine, and then so each time they have to apply for the hospital, they accept those students. So when you apply to those hospitals, you have to prepare all the documents, like all the documents of your grades and IDs and everything like that, just to prove yourself as a decent person who can study in the hospital or something. So with that document, you have to give them the proof of your clean of the drugs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Because you're.
So any kinds of drug. So this person I was talking about, he smokes weed, and once you smoke weed, to get the negative with the test, you have to be clean at least 1 or 2 weeks before you get tested or something.
Dang.
So, but he didn't know he has to give them that test result, and the deadline is like coming.
Yeah.
He doesn't have time. He cannot wait a week or 2 weeks. And he was so desperate. He's not young, so he cannot miss 1 year.
Mhm.
I told him, like, why don't you just wait another year and then
Oh
do that
no.
next year. And he was like, no, I cannot wait to do that because there's so many things he has done. And then after he done this and this and that, he is going to apply for the resident something that's the next step to be
Yeah.
to become a doctor or something. So there's so many plans ahead. So if he misses one thing, he has to wait like a long time to get another chance or something.
Right.
So he was like, no, I can't wait. And that's why he said, like, can you give me yours?
Why yours specifically?
Because you're dating that time.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You weren't doing drugs, apparently.
He knew. He
No,
knew.
he knew I'm clean.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah,
give
he
him?
knew I'm
Did you give him your
clean.
pee?
Yes.
That is a funny story.
Yeah.
And that's funny. It's like they won't know. He said they won't know it's female or male just by testing the urine.
Because they're
It's
probably
not
just
like-
looking for drugs. Instead.
Yeah, so they are just looking for drugs, and
Yeah.
if they want to find out if this pee is from a female or male, they have to put another test, and that's going to cost a lot more. So that's why they don't do that, and they won't know. So I'm like, okay.
What goes through your head when you're peeing and you're like, okay, I'm about to hand this to the person I'm dating?
Yeah, and then there's a future. His future, but
Yeah.
we're dating, right? Maybe if I get married to him, I get married to a doctor, right? I'm supporting him.
It sounds like yeah.
Are you still dating him?
No.
Ah,
That pee was an investment.
No, that's not the reason why we broke up, but
Yeah.
That's really
Sounds
funny.
like that's really ride or die. You're a real ride or die with that one.
That's amazing.
Next time I go to the hospital, I'll know. I'll look at somebody's eyes and be like, oh yeah, I know. You're the doctor. You're the one that's probably.
you're the one who asked a
you're-
girl a pee.
because you're high right now, aren't you? I'm like, next doctor, someone new. I don't-
Yeah.
Not high off the marijuana. That's so funny.
He said, "I need this,
Yeah.
man."
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I would do that I would definitely without. I don't care if my partner was trying to get a job at McDonald's. I'd probably pee. I'd pee for them.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, he's really, really desperate. And yeah, giving him pee is like not giving him money, right?
Yeah.
Pee is like,
Pee
okay,
is free.
whatever. Take
But
it.
how desperate are you if you can't go 1 or 2 weeks without smoking weed?
But
Yeah.
wouldn't he have to hide it in his like shirt or so? Like, doesn't he
He-
go somewhere?
He
Or
put it like in a condom
Yeah,
on his leg.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how
the-
people do that. I don't know how you
That's
smuggle.
the
urine
craziest
like
part.
You
So
tape it to your leg.
so that's the craziest part. We went to Dunkin' Donuts. And, so he didn't want to go into the hospital. The hospital he was getting the training before because he might get into someone who. So we avoid the hospitals, but we have to close enough to the clinic that he's going to bring that pee in because the pee has to be warm enough, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because if the pee is cold, so he's supposed to pee in the bathroom of the clinic.
I can't believe this.
This is not his first time asking for pee. This is very well
He's
thought
done,
out.
he's done this
You are
before.
not
It's
his
like,
been a doctor for a while.
You are not his first.
oh no, this is like one of my cousins or something. No, I'm just joking.
He knew all the tricks.
I'm dead. That's hilarious.
Wait, so you're in the Dunkin' Donuts? What happened?
Yes, just finished.
So he got an empty bottle. He gave me the empty bottle and then go to the bathroom and do it in there. So I did it in there and gave it to him. And then I think he hid it on the pants.
No.
No, actually he did something weird. Like
Yeah.
Is
he
something
used
weird?
like a plastic bag or something.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's together the con.
Because the bottle. He can, yeah, people can see it. Like if you hide it the bottle here. So
Yeah.
I think he prepared like a plastic bag or something,
Yeah.
like an IV fluid kind of bag.
You just put it in a condom and you tie it up and then you poke a hole through the condom when you're in the bathroom and it just
Oh, that's a
pees
good
out.
idea.
Man,
That's
this
Sounds
is
like
smart.
you've had experience, Finus.
What? Oh no.
Sounds like you've had experience. No.
No, porn. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Oh man. I hope I get to be 36 and doing and get to do that to try to get a doctor. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's-
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really funny. You're a good friend, Azumi. That's a lot.
You just show your
Yeah,
shoulders
but
like it was no.
it was a new experience. You know?
Did he pass? He's a doctor.
No, he's still. I don't know what happened after because I haven't heard from him for a long time.
He got the P and he was like, "I'm out."
But that test, he passed. That I mean, the
Good.
P test, he passed.
Nice. I wonder what he felt like having your warm pee taped to his thigh. Like
I know.
That's a crazy experience, right?
I know. Yeah.
I feel like it's really it's got to be bonding. Did you guys were closer, or was that the beginning of the end?
No, it wasn't the beginning of the end. We were in a really good moment.
Well, you
So
have to be.
I think it's more like bonding experience.
I feel like this is a good intro to like next thing you know, I need you to like keep this car running. I'll be inside real quick. Just now that you peed in the thing, I'm just gonna start robbing stuff and you're
Grandpa, would you do that for somebody?
I can't give you an answer to that. I don't know.
So now you know, Brandon. That's not your connect. That's not.
Yeah,
Don't
know
turn
about
this
Grandpa.
way when you're looking for pee.
Grandpa, you're bottom of my list now.
Oh.
Not too many people I know at my age are going to be doing pot anymore.
So that means you got clean pee. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making me feel bad what I missed out on. Yeah, thank you so much, Azumi. We're at 7:35.
Sure.
Wow, what a
you.
share.
That was great. That was
really
Yeah, that was a fun story.
That's
yeah.
lovely.
I will say a year ago, I never thought I'd be on a video chat with my grandpa, listen to someone talk about how they peed in a bag for somebody. Like,
Is it good or bad?
it's so good. Azumi. It's so yeah, I've spent a lifetime getting grandpa into interesting circumstances. So this is really nice. I really like it. But
Good.
yeah, good seeing you. We'll have you back on soon if you want to, for sure.
Oh
Stay
yeah, great. This is really fun. Doing it in Zoom is much better than just like hearing your voices, right?
It is. This is.
So I was the only person that just doesn't like you.
It's because you got to wear a shirt, and so it's.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll like it in a couple months. Like it's cold.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Azumi. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you. You too. It's really nice talking to you.
You too.
Bye.
So I'm in a bit of a predicament because Ryan isn't here.
Okay.
Timothy is here, but if I go to the Zoom waiting room, there's a lad named Tyler.
I'm gonna grab some water really good.
Is Ryan in the clean feed?
Ryan is nowhere to be found.
Do you want to unmute Tyler's clean feed and ask him who he is?
Tyler's not in the clean feed. Tyler is in the Zoom waiting room. But Timothy is on the clean feed.
Zoom meetings do get bombed frequently. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like people sometimes try and hack in. Let's get Tyler. Let's see what's
Well,
up.
I want to get Timothy first because I don't want to see like a butthole if I add Tyler.
Okay. Is Timothy?
Timothy, are you Tyler?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry about
God.
the confusion, guys. What's going on?
That's okay. You're not going to show me a butthole if I add
No,
you,
I
right?
promise you.
Great,
No.
great.
It's not that type of show.
We'll see what happens.
Can you guys see me?
Not yet.
Mhm.
I sent you a request for video.
There we go.
There we
Hi,
go.
delightful. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good,
Good.
good.
Grandpa, it's good to dude. First of all, you're like a celebrity in my eyes, man. This guy is amazing.
Well, I feel like a celebrity on this program.
As you should. As you
Yeah.
should, my G.
And if it weren't for Brandon, I'd have never done this, but it's interesting for me. I'm meeting a lot of nice people and very, very much fun for me getting on.
That's
on
dope.
this.
Well, you guys have a good podcast going, man. I really fuck with it. And I can say fuck with it, right?
Sure.
All right, yeah. I know we
Grandpa
said
will
butthole.
get that,
Yeah, thanks.
I like it. I like it. You guys have a really good vibe. Everything
Yeah,
about it is pretty good.
You have a nice room.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Miami, Florida. Welcome.
Ooh.
This is your new Florida. What you mean new Florida?
This is Miami, Florida.
But it's new to where was it? Where is old? Where were you?
What do you mean?
You said new Florida. Like,
No, I said this is Miami, Florida.
oh, Miami, Florida. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Miami,
yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is-
man.
Are you a Heat fan?
I am not. I'm from DC, so I'm a Wizards fan.
Oh, ugh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
man. No, it's okay. No, yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that. Your condolences mean a lot, bro. It's suffering. I mean, but that's been DC for a while, man.
Yeah.
So I'm used to it. But I might as well convert. What about you guys? Y'all from New York?
Chicago.
Okay.
I think it's just me from
Philly.
New York now.
Yeah, I'm
Philadelphia.
back in New Jersey. Do they still have Miami shut down at 10 p.m.? Like you can't even be in the street?
Yeah, it's pretty shut down. Like it's weird. It feels almost like this I Am Legend kind of vibe on South
like a
Beach.
ghost town.
Yeah, it's a ghost town. You're used to seeing these tourists there, thousands every day, and then now it's just nobody.
Yeah.
It's so eerie. You know what I mean? And they're really enforcing it, giving out citations if you're not wearing masks,
Right,
giving out
right.
tickets. So
It
you're not
feels
playing
like
around.
the whole point of Miami is just like these pictures of giant crowds and having fun and like the opposite of what's going on right now.
Absolutely. It's dried up. And a lot of businesses that have been open for, since the 80s are starting to shut down. I think that's the saddest part about it. Seeing these
Yeah.
with such rich history behind it, not be able to hang on because tourism is what kept Miami alive.
Mhm.
Sure. It must be nice chilling on Miami Beach alone, like without a crowd, right?
I ain't gonna lie, it is kind of dope. It's kind of dope, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I damn near want to take my shorts off this morning. I was like, yo, no one's out here.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you really could,
It was just
honestly.
me and God. That's it.
Yeah.
Are
Me
you
and God.
working remotely? Are you doing service? How you holding up through all this?
Pretty good. I just recently graduated with my bachelor's in acting for film and television.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank all of you guys. I was right on the cusp of graduating when COVID hit,
Mhm.
and we had this LA showcase to go to and a couple thesis films to shoot. I was working on a few projects outside of school, and it just shut down.
Oh
And
man.
so the first month was intense. Like I think it was the same for everyone. That first month was like, all right, cool, it'll be over soon. So you kind of booze, you enjoy the time off. I had a little more time to work on my resume, and then I think within like that next month, it was just kind of like, all right, things are getting serious. So I had to devise a plan, and that consisted of just writing scripts every single day. I knew I
Wow.
could survive based off of income. I could do okay, but at the end of the day, I really wanted to start pushing passion out during this time. So I had to
Yeah.
stop drinking and focus on projects and curate ideas inspired by things that happened and all the things that transpired from March up until now. All that crazy.
Wow.
Ah, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the time to do art. This is the time. I think we're gonna, as like this generation, I think there's gonna be COVID art because there's gonna be all these artists that just had all this free time. I mean, I haven't done as much writing, and I'm really in my art bag right now. It's because there's
Yeah.
nothing to do,
Yeah.
So hopefully something.
No,
good
that's
comes out of it.
amazing. That's amazing. What do you guys been doing to keep busy besides the show?
It's all right, I'll go into it. I had a very, very, very crazy experience. And I'll be vague for like, I guess legal reasons, but I was on a TV gig. Like I booked a show that was filming
Yeah.
last week, and it's everybody was talking about like, oh, like, like it's been going so well, and we were all so afraid of the whole production getting shut down. Um, and then this was my second day of filming out of 2 days. I just had like a 1 episode thing. I'm about to tell us. Yeah. All right. So in the morning, in the morning after hair and makeup, I offhandedly was like, "Oh, can I run to the store real quick before like, I go to set, whatever." And they're like, "Oh no, it's all right. What do you need?" And I was like, "Oh, like maybe like a ginger ale. Oh, maybe like a Pepto Bismol." Didn't think anything of it, anything, like I had eaten some like gross ass like chicken and like gyro stuff the day before, and like I was,
Yeah.
but like I didn't feel any sort of way. And so everything's fine. Like the person I asked was super nice. She's like, "Oh, here's your ginger ale, I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool, this is so nice." I'm in holding. I had just filmed one scene. It's like 3.5 hours later. Someone on the makeup team asked me, they were like, "Are you dizzy?" And that's a really weird question to ask. I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, I was like, "No." Not knowing what had conspired behind my back. But basically, I was just like talking with my co-star, and we were like having a really good conversation. And this very like intimidating guy, super nice guy, but like, he was like, "Come with me." I was like, "Okay, okay, cool." And you don't know what's going on, but they walk me through, and I'm like, after somebody's walking next to you for long enough and not saying anything, you're like, something is wrong right now. So within
Yeah.
5-10 seconds, I was like, "What is going on?" And he's like, "Oh, we just, we have concerns about your health. We just want to take you away real quick." And I was like, What are you talking? What?" And they put me 20 feet away in like the corner of a parking lot, like off the building from set. And like, long story short, I mean, it was just an awful, awful, awful time. They shut the whole production down, and the COVID team kept being like, "Do you have?" I didn't have a fever. My vitals are completely normal. They kept being like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I was like, "I'm literally fine. What is going on? What is
That's
going on?"
crazy.
Because I had asked for Pepto,
Uh,
that person had told other people, and then it was like a game of telephone. They were like, "We heard that you were like coughing and sneezing, and like you were so sick all night last night." And I was like, "Oh my god." It happened so quickly that like, yeah, pretty traumatic experience.
That's insane, man.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
they?
That
Did you get a test? Did they get you a
I got
test?
2 tests, both
Oh,
negative,
they're
and
great. I mean, yeah.
I still could. They still didn't let me back on the set. So
That's insane.
Still wait
yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah, yeah. No, I had to drive an hour each way. They drove me, like I didn't know what was going on. They drove me to get like a PCR test. We took spit tests every morning. The spit test came back negative. But yeah, they had to shut the whole production down. Like 40 people, probably lots and lots of money, and it was like, it was so. And I kept being like people were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. What are you?" And then I would have that conversation, and then someone would walk away and be like, "I hope you feel better." And I was like, "I what?" Like, I just told you. So yeah,
That is insane.
you guys ever see Monsters Inc?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're that guy with the.
Someone fucking
The
threw a
sock
sock on
on
me,
them.
and they shaved me down, and I had a cone around my neck the rest of the time, man. Like it was
Well,
pretty crazy.
Damn.
it's trying times, Brandon. I don't know.
It's
Well,
really.
is the production going to start up again? What's the
I don't
situation?
know what's going on. What I did, my first day of work will still be there. And then the first scene that I shot on the second day, but they like what I think happened is like I was like had told me later like, I'm so sorry, you took the brunt of everything that was going on. It really wasn't about you. There was all these like concerns and issues before, and like you were sort of an excuse of like the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's intense.
It makes sense.
It makes
They're
sense.
probably
I
very
mean,
nervous. Yeah.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I-
But just like last thing is like basically they didn't tell me anything that was going on, but then I got like sent home, and I got an email that said like production's been delayed a week. So it's like, well, like I was not allowed back on set, not for any health things, but like now my face is like the arbiter of all of that,
Yeah.
you know,
Jeez.
fear. And yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It just kind of makes you wonder, like, where the film industry is going to be heading after this direction. If something like that can shut down a set,
Yeah.
there's so many scripts that have already been written with sex scenes and kissing and close touch and crowds and mobs.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to be able to film any of that within the next year. So it just kind of pushes that question of those of us that are really trying to go out there and film stuff. Do we adjust to a new manner of going back old school with indie films with like Pulp Fiction, where you have 5 people maybe that are
Yeah.
followed around by the camera,
so.
or are we still having? And I think that you made a really good point where I think that's where the creative minds really come out, because you lose all the high technical stuff, the facades, and you really have to focus on great fucking writing, great fucking acting. And
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be all the above too. I'm sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
No, just imagine if Endgame was slated for 2022. Like, you know, like imagine
true.
if they hadn't filmed that, you know, like it's, yeah, I think that's going to be like the last movie of that kind for quite a while, for sure.
That's true. That's true.
I think I don't know. I think it's gonna be all of it. I think we'll have a bunch of Pulp Fiction 5 films. I think we'll have a lot of more animation, a lot more voiceover work. But I also think there are gonna be a lot of like taboo is what we're gonna want to watch. So there are gonna be people that are like, so the first person that's gonna be like, oh, I made a movie with all these people and not wearing masks and it's back to old days, and I bet that's gonna sell great. I think people are gonna like. I think it's gonna be a little bit of all of it, but you know, I don't know. I think we need to. I think we're too big for our britches. I think everybody needs to sit down and just chill out for like just a little bit. You know, like I get it. I love art and stuff, but
Is
what's up?
filming any different in depending on the region that you're in or the area that you're in? Is it more accessible in some areas than in others because of a lower rate of infection or whatever from COVID?
No, it has nothing to do with infection rate and almost everything to do with politics.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good question. I've been getting stuff from my agent for castings in certain places where there's no COVID, and it seems like the pay's a little bit less. They want you out there longer. But New York City, LA, castings out there, you know, they're going to give you a lot of money, but they're going to throw you in the gauntlet. It seems like you're going to be out there for a little bit of time. It's like have a COVID test beforehand, and then after that, you know, get on a plane, don't come back here. You know, that's it. So it depends if you want to put yourself in that situation. But Grandpa has a good question. Certain places, you know, like Miami has already not been a film hub for the past couple of years. Kind of sad. I think Bad Boys 2 is the last film that's been shot down. But places like New York and LA, my friends have all been saying there's really no work out there, and all productions are at a standstill. And if you are shooting, you're shooting from the hip with no licenses, no permits, just trying your best to maneuver around this mess. And another good friend of mine was like, yo, maybe it's a good time to switch over to horror films, because I can just make a mess out in the field somewhere and sell that on Prime. You know?
Is your school in Miami? Like, why did you pick this area?
I feel like there's hope for it. I think that there's a lot of hope for it to be a huge film hub. I think that it always has been, from the Birdcage, Scarface, Bad Boys.
I was gonna say I love Birdcage. That's a great
Absolutely. So many great films are shot down here, but the issue is if you're from a city like this, everybody shoots here and they take away from the city and they leave nothing. And they get these beautiful shots and they make beautiful films and you know, I don't know if I can say this, I probably should, but you know, they drop Moonlight and then that's it. No one comes back to give to the city. So it's a city of parasites, so it never grows. And so my friends and I are trying to change that. Trying to change that narrative by getting the kids that are going to be like, we're going to stay here and and do our best when the tax incentive switches over. We're gonna start shooting. We shoot. See what happens.
I like
That's
it.
amazing,
Like,
man.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Worst case, we pack up and go to New York. After that, granddad, you need an assistant. I don't know. I can whatever you need, man.
Like it.
Well,
If you
I
hire,
haven't decided yet to produce any films, but I do have some good equipment to make films, but just don't know how to direct or produce films. So I'd be the
You
wrong
ever-
person.
you
Go
ever
ahead.
been in a movie?
Yeah, home film. No.
Oh.
No. But my natural father had equipment and used to shoot 8 and 16 millimeter. I'm going back now to the 40s.
Yeah.
But not since then.
That's dope. Brendan, when'd you get into film?
I've been like, I was like 12 years old, like, oh my God, I want to do that, you know. So it's been
Yeah.
a minute, yeah.
That's
But
dope.
going back to the theme, I'm super curious if you have any big awkward moments or any stories that have come up from.
Man, I got a lot good ones for you guys. I'll leave you guys with this one since we're talking. I mean, I'll give you guys two options. I can give you a quick rundown, an embarrassing story, lunch with Mark Wahlberg, or I can give you
What?
I give you the haunted insane asylum.
Insane Asylum.
I
Where's
think
the
you guys would
haunted?
like the insane asylum.
Yeah, where's the asylum at?
It's in West Virginia.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll bring it in. Let me know if I got to speed up here, but I'll do my best as possible to speak
You got a lot of
clearly and
time.
get through this. Awesome. So I was in the Marine Corps. We got orders that we were going to go to Afghanistan, and when you're in the Marines, you train in facilities that look like buildings, so you get the realism of the echoes of gunshots and people coming out of rooms. So they use a lot of facilities that government owns. They say, hey, X amount of money, our Marines are going to sleep there. No need for hotels. We're going to train there. We're going to wake up, eat, sleep. That's it. So we get the orders that we're going to West Virginia. We're going to drive all the trucks up, all the Marines, all the equipment. We get there, we find out that this is a haunted insane asylum, and we're going to be sleeping there for a week and a half. I couldn't believe it. Like, this is insane. And so we get there, and it's not like they put beds out. Like, it looks like there's files in rooms. There's patients' files and stuff, and ice picks, and it's just insane. So we start training around like 2 a.m., I want to say. My buddy and I are in a room, probably no bigger than my room here, 2 beds, and there's a clock on the wall. And the alarm kept going off on the clock. It's one of those clocks from the 80s and 90s where it's got the batteries in the back and you can set the alarm. It kept going off, and so eventually he wanted to go take the battery out, and there was no battery in there, but the clock was ticking. So that was like the first weird thing that we noticed. So we kind of just like got rid of that clock out the room. And then at night, the way they do the training is they wake you up with role players. So these role players are dressed in typical costumes that you see in Afghanistan. They have weapons. They walk around, and they're supposed to be interacting with you while you sleep, eat, patrol this small town. And so at 2 a.m., we just hear a bunch of kids running in the hallways. So my buddies and I get up. We get our weapons. We do this whole training evolution. We're looking for these kids the entire time. We don't find them. The next morning, we got up. We told the role players, or the Navy SEALs that were running this facility, hey, your role players were amazing. Dude, the kids were like, I can't believe y'all got kids at 2 a.m. And he was like, there's no kids on this facility. And we're like, nah. We definitely heard him. We heard him running down the hallway. We chased him down. Like, we got him on comm. Post 1 heard it. Post 2 heard it. And he's like, there's no kids. We don't hire kid role players, especially not at 2 a.m. And so, like, I was one of those moments where it just hits you like you're training in a place where people of all ages were just tortured and suffering.
You said a week, right? You said it for a week?
Yeah, a week.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's so many things that happened within that week. That was the first night for us. That's how I knew it was gonna be a long week, and just kept getting weirder. And I'm religious, I don't make up spooky, scary stories. I think they're kind of fake. I'm like Brendan. I grew up watching film and television, so in my mind, everything it's only Hollywood. Nothing was ever real. But when you're in those situations where you start to question your own sanity, that's when you believe, okay, this shit is real.
Yeah.
because you're not tripping. You heard kids. You heard kids running down. You know what kids sound like. You're got full military gear on. You're down there chasing kids for an hour and a half, and they tell you in the morning that there's no kids in this building. It just makes you kind of realize like, what's this?
Yeah, no. Whenever I see a ice pick in some type of asylum or a place like that, that's like lobotomies. That's
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'm already sketched out. If I ever see an ice pick in some type of medical facility, I'm like, I don't know if I should be here, y'all.
Bro, have you guys seen Ratched?
I've been watching it.
Right?
What is that?
It's on Netflix, and it's like, I think it might be like a prequel for American Horror Story. I don't know, but Sarah Paulson's in it. It's like not like, I don't think it's as like, I've never seen American Horror Story, but I heard it's like off the chain, and this isn't like that. It's like very different, but it's so good, and it's just like, it's in the 40s, and this girl
sounds scary to me.
This girl, she's just crazy. Like, she's just really freaking crazy, and it reminds me of that because there's a dude on there. It's in the 40s, and this dude is like a psychologist or psychiatrist. He's a doctor, and this man is trying to get like rich and famous off of doing lobotomies. And these lobotomies are so messed up.
Dude, I listened to this podcast about this famous guy that kept getting he was driving around in this truck just giving people lobotomies. Like, well, not people, women. He was like, "Hey, is your wife or mother a little too smart? I got something for that. I got."
It's so crazy.
It's just a really weird way.
What is the name of the show, Sierra?
Ratched. Ratched.
All right. Yeah, that sounds scary. I might check it out.
It was really good. I watched one episode, and then I was going to make a video about it. And then I ended up like binge watching the rest of it at like 11 p.m. And
oh no, you ain't doing you won't find me there. What were you about to say, Tyler, before the second ago you said you were about to say something? Or do
No, I was saying Ratched is a really great show. You should check it out if you get a chance. It really does. Like, honestly, it's kind of like the Joker to me, where it kind of goes into mental health in a way that's dark and twisted. It kind of addresses mental health in a manner where you have to look away, but the next time you see someone with an issue like that, you can't look away.
Yeah.
And I think it's just beautifully shot. Really well done.
Yeah, the cinematography, the colors are beautiful. They did not know what they were doing in the 40s. Good God.
But just know when to look away because it is graphic. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it on there. I'll take it I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty I've been watching a lot of animated shows. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty happy right now. I don't know if change that up.
Tyler, having been a Marine, what made you decide to get into the acting field?
I always loved it. It's funny because my grandmother, she grew up watching MASH a lot. I always watched MASH with her, and the show scared me because for some reason my brother at the time told me that the people on the laugh tracks were dead. He was like, "Oh, the people you hear laughing are dead," and so the show didn't scare me, but the laugh tracks on MASH scared me. If that makes any sense. Yeah. And so it kind of was always this connection where I love the acting in the shows, but I'd watch it like this because I knew the laughs were coming up. And I just love the characters in it. And so when I got to high school, 9/11 happened. And I was basically in theater class around that time. And I think it was just like a no-brainer when I got out of high school what I was going to do because I lived in DC at the time. So friends of mine were getting called out of class. And so like it just sticks with you. And so I think at that point in my time, it wasn't just MASH, it was knowing that as I got older, what I was watching as a kid, I was watching heroes, these young men and women that were called to serve. And even though it was a show with a lot of comedy, and there's a lot of seriousness in MASH that taught me at a young age that when people suffer, you got to step in sometimes, even if it's not you. So I think that's why.
Wow. It's pretty impressive.
Nice.
So, do you prefer Timothy, or Tyler?
Tim's perfect.
Okay.
Tim.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. No, you're good.
You can watch
how
MASH.
many pull-ups can you do, Tim?
Let's see. I mean, I you know what's funny is I had a really good PT score, but I knew nothing about the Marine Corps. I was scared shitless when I got there. Like, boot camp was a wake up. I was on the bus thinking I was sleeping like, this shouldn't be a breeze, right? Like that whole skit, and people come on yelling, and from that day on, your life pain. Like your whole mind is rattled. Like you're breaking it down constantly, right? So I was always scared to mess up. So I was pushing my body, my limits further and further. But to answer your question, the most that I've ever done in one sitting was 70.
Wow,
And that
that's a lot.
70 straight. Yeah, that pushed me into this course that was called Assault Climbers Course. They're sending Marines to learn how to rappel in Bridgeport, California, because Afghanistan had mountains. So I was a part of the special forces team that went to Bridgeport, California to learn how to rappel due to my pull-ups. And that course was just intense because you're constantly doing pull-ups. You're doing pull-ups while your partner's blindfolded tying knots. And then you can't get down until he ties that knot. And then you get up there, your hands are bleeding. You can't touch the ground. So you can shake your hand off. You can help your partner if he drops his rope. You can put it in his hand, but he's got to keep the blindfold on. You got to stay up there. And it pushes your mental fortitude a lot. So my pull-ups are actually surprisingly up there, but that's the only reason why, because I went to that course.
I think
Yeah,
we finally met someone.
People can do 70. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, you're probably the first person that could beat Grandpa at pull-ups, honestly.
How many can Grandpa do?
Grandpa's strong.
I don't think I get anywhere near 70, but I was in the Army, and
oh man,
I wasn't too hard for me to do pull-ups. So before the soldiers went into the mess hall, they had to do pull-ups, and they put me in charge of making sure they did their pull-ups.
That's awesome, man.
Maybe I've done 25, maybe.
That's most. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. I appreciate it. Thank you for paving the way for us.
And same to you, Tim.
We appreciate it. But yeah, 25 is up there, man. It's hard. Pull-ups are hard. Yeah. You don't understand how heavy your own body is.
Yeah.
Until you got to pick it up. Like babies can't get their head up. So you got to imagine how hard it is.
Well, now I can do one or two.
that is still a lot more than some people want to do.
Yeah. There's tips and tricks. If you like pull your chin all the way back up. I know people can't see me, but if you pull your chin all the way back up and you really try to hook your chin up to that bar, that's one. You know what I mean? You do that 2 more times, that's another 2 sets. So you keep pushing yourself every day to get to that next number, and you'll get them. Because I remember when I couldn't do 0, and I went from 0 to 70 real quick.
Wow, real quick. I was gonna say you can watch MASH without the laugh track. It's like on the internet for like people in, I think it's UK or British, like people that
my day.
BBC,
are you kidding me?
Because they think it's real unbecoming of us needing someone to tell us when something's funny, so they watch all their shows without laugh tracks. It's honestly it's kind of boring to me. I mean, I get it, but I'm also
I think you're right. It's one of those things where like it's so imbalanced. Like the other day, somebody checked me the other day. Like I might offend somebody. I don't know. This might just crash the host show. I don't like Friends. I've never watched it.
Yeah,
I try to get into it. It's no knock on people that love it, but I get heat for it, and I keep telling people take the laugh tracks out of Friends. It's not that funny. But if you take it out of Seinfeld is still funny because it's just everyday stuff that makes you laugh.
Yeah. That's well written. That show is,
it's genius.
I think Friends is not a bad show. I think it's pretty well written, but I agree. I'm not the biggest fan of it. More just because it's so like not realistic, which I know a lot of shows like that aren't realistic, but I can't help but get a little irritated just seeing people in New York just chilling. Like, oh,
Like, you got an apartment that nice on coffee shop.
Yeah.
Exactly. No way, PB.
No, I always say if you want to kill someone the most slow and painful way on earth, you just see episode 1, season 1 to the end straight, and then that'll do it every time. So
that's the thing, and the reason Seinfeld was so great is because for the first time, all these different characters had these intertwining desires, but they all led to the same place on every single episode. It never failed to complete a full circle. Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, everyone on that show was genius. So, no knock against Friends. Anyone listening?
Yeah, I definitely didn't knock it at all.
I hope the Beehive crew fucks with the Friends really heavily, so we just make a bunch like that just hate us now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I feel like as a black man, I'm allowed to say I don't like Friends. I can
Yeah,
say I agree.
okay.
Yeah. I can say that, right?
I can say it. You know what? Speaking frankly, I'm a hater. I can't look at those people and like, nah. I feel with hate when I see happy people just
You know,
being broke. Like, why are you so happy and broke?
yeah. I gotta see a little bit of I gotta see a little bit of Winslow struggle.
Uh,
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. That's it. But great shows, great shows.
Awesome, man. I'm super glad that we were able to have a bit more time. It's super great having you, Tim. I'd love to have you
Absolutely.
back on sometime, man.
Well, I appreciate chopping it up. You guys keep spreading positivity, doing a great thing. We love listening. Again, Grandpa, thank you for your service and your energy, man. We appreciate you.
Hope to see you in the movies someday.
Hopefully one day, man, when that day comes, I'm gonna do 72 pull-ups for you, man.
Sounds good.
All right, OG, you guys be safe.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Hope to
Bye.
see you soon.
All right, we're gonna try this. All right. So I've unmuted myself first of all, and hi, Ryan.
The Red Dirt King is connecting to audio.
Now we got
Sweet.
it.
Boom, we're set. It's the last question that was asked before you hopped on, Ryan, was how many pull-ups Grandpa could do.
What's that?
The last question that was asked on the air before we got you on was how many pull-ups Grandpa could do. So
How many can he do?
Today, maybe 1 or 2.
1 or 2. It sounds like you're being humble, if you ask me. Look, you're live. We don't need humility at this point, because look, it sounds like you've been around the block a few more times than me, and look, that's called real world strength. All right, so 1 or 2 from an older gentleman. Nah, that's 50 or 60.
Well, I'm going to try to transfer it into physical strength.
Hey, you know what? You tomato, man. You can call it what you want, but
you look like a power lifter.
well, as long as I look like I can do and I can lift and all that stuff, that's the most important thing. Aesthetics are the more important thing to me than actually functional strength. I shouldn't be admitting that, but it's just the truth. It's just
like
truth.
the art of war. When you're weak, you look strong. That's the best way to get your opponent to to back off a little bit.
Exactly. That's the way to do it. See, you know.
Yeah, look at these shit. You know. It was good to meet you. What was your name? I'm sorry.
Ryan Barnes.
Nice to meet you, Ryan.
It's nice to meet you.
You said you're from Texas, huh?
I'm from Texas, man. Holding down Fort Worth.
Ah. How long you been there?
Man, I have been in Texas all my life. I was born in Cincinnati. I moved down here before I was 1. So I ain't Texas born, but I'm Texas bred. That's the way I like to see it.
Oh, well, I live in Indiana, so I was kind of close to. Well, I lived in Indiana. I moved to New York, but kind of close to Cincinnati. I've been in Cincinnati a few times.
New York. Did you say New York?
I live in New York now. Yeah.
Oh man, I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
I tell you,
You know what though?
See, I have to get a passport to go to New York. Okay,
Same.
Whole another planet, man.
I feel it. I think Texas ain't that part of Mexico.
those were the good old days. Depending on who you ask, we'll say those were the good old days.
That's funny. I'm a Spurs fan though. I love the Spurs.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's San Antonio. So that's basically Tijuana. That's
Oh.
that's
What you mean? Is it what you mean by that? Is it I don't know. Is it like
Okay,
different?
Yes, look, Texas is big, right? So
Yeah.
I'm in Fort Worth. So you got the West, that's Fort Worth. Then you got the far east, and that's Dallas. Okay? Now it might be 45 minutes in between, but Dallas is kind of like the little New York City, right? So of Texas. Then you got Houston. Then you got San Antonio here in the middle, down south. Totally different cultures, man. It's
Really?
fascinating. It really is. It's fascinating. So it's just all depends on where you go. Different cultures, different people, but everybody's cool in Texas, man. Everybody's cool in Texas, but just in their own way. Every city like that is different.
Yo, I'm.
You know what's funny? I was looking at. I'm sorry.
Go Finest. My bad. No.
I know. I was just looking at Christmas. I happened to be looking at Christmas holiday pictures in Texas about how they like they just go all out, they maybe did like and I thought it was funny because there's not any snow on the ground, and they're wearing I feel like they're wearing jackets just for no reason. They're just like, why?
Right. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it. And look, if you're not bringing the snow, I'm still bringing the coat. And that's really all you can do. So if you don't bring the sled, I'm gonna still bring the earmuffs, and that's the way it was.
The theme for today, we've been talking about awkward moments, and honestly, I am so curious what the most awkward moment of your life has been, or if you have any at all. I mean,
I tell you, man, I might have made a lot of moments awkward for others, but I really don't experience the awkwardness that I think a lot of people talk about or describe. I think awkwardness is very subjective. So I really don't experience that a whole lot. Now, granted, I can see it in their eyes when the people are feeling that awkward moment. I can look into their soul and they're thinking, "My God, what have you said? Why have you done this to me and put me in this position?" But I'm not really doing that to them. I think we allow ourselves to be put in awkward situations and awkward moments. So, and we call the insecurity. I don't know, but maybe I'm just too comfortable in my own skin, or in other people's presence for my own good. Maybe that's it.
Cool. Then I think, go, Grandpa.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. When you make people awkward, is there any disparity between men or women?
Well, I would like to think that I don't make any women feel awkward, but again, that's a biased statement. But I think really, if you really want to see somebody awkward, just tell them the truth. And that's what I noticed more than anything is that, look, I'm an actor and I'm in real estate now, but look, I was a teacher and a coach for 9 years. Okay. And that's what I tell you what, you get around high school kids, I'm talking 15, 16, 17, man, they don't have a damn hesitant bone in their body. They were like, look, I got no hair, okay? You know that. I know that. Helen Keller knows that. I got no hair, right? So they would say things. I was doing my best to hang on to what I got. And I remember a kid being like, "Hey, what's going on, Mr. Barnes? Damn, you're bald, man." So they would say those kind of things to me. And if you can't take that kind of truth, look, it's just obvious truth. Mm-hmm. Some people would say that's rude, but is it not true? Yeah. So, like, how am I supposed to feel awkward because he said I'm bald? Damn, I'm bald. It's just, am I secure with it or am I not? So being around those kids, you got to get over it pretty quick. So you got to get some thick skin going.
What do you think?
What sport?
Oh, I coach golf and strength and conditioning.
Cool.
Got you.
Oh, yeah. ABC.
Yeah. I was going to say, you definitely look like you do some weightlifting.
I do, man. So, here's what's funny. So, genetically, I was in high school, man. I was 5'6", 128 pounds. All right. So I'm 5'8", 200 pounds now, and this dude used to bully the hell out of me in high school, and he was the reason, and still is to this day, why I work out. Because if I go 3 days without working out, I feel like that little scrawny punk that allowed himself to get picked on back in the day in high school. And I swore to God, and I swore to myself, I would never let that happen again. So it stuck with me. So I tip my hat to that punk that used to pick on me.
How much do you bench?
I bench 360.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah.
This kind of goes with what we were talking about yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, the last episode. But I feel you on the whole, basically what it sounds like you're being petty a little bit. Like you put a chip on your shoulder. It's like, hey, not being super petty, but I feel I work really hard myself too. Like I self-educate and I read a lot, and a lot of it's because when I was younger, somebody might have said, "Oh, you're stupid" or something like that, and I've taken that to heart, and I'm like, and I will keep going with it. But I'm like, is that petty of me to be feeling this way, and is it bad that I'm feeling it? Because I'm okay, I'm doing all right.
That's a great question, and it's only one that you can answer. And it's funny that you say that because I used to say, look, I'm a grown man now, and don't admit that this punk had this kind of effect on your life, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
He had. And if for me to deny that is being in denial. It's the truth. And so I acknowledge it. He changed my life, without a doubt. And in some ways, for a long time, it was changed for the worse. But now it's actually been changed for the better. And the truth of the matter is, you got to be true with you. And yes, he affected my life till this day, and I've accepted that. And I think it's I think it's in a good way. And I ran into that guy. I actually ran into that guy, which is what's crazy. And he's the dorkiest looking guy now. You would never believe it, man. It is something else. So, oh man, it was a satisfying moment.
I love it. No.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Did you knock his teeth out or what?
I had rehearsed in my mind everything that I would do, right? I'm like, man, I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like I would say his name, dude, as I'm doing right. And so I'm like, when I see this guy again, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And 3 years go by, and I went from 128 to 135 to 165, and then up to 185 now, 200. And I pull into this gas station. I come home from college, pull into a gas station. I get out of the car. I look and I'm like, oh my God, my heart's just pumping. I'm like, that's him. That's him. This is the moment I've been rehearsing and preparing for, man. I started walking towards him. He's walking towards me. All of a sudden, this guy had a larger than life, just aura about it. It was gone. And his chest went in, his little gut stuck out, and he came up to me, man, and I'm about to knock him out. Wow. And I was like, and he said, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry for what I did. And I remember thinking, no, God, no.
You knew what was coming when you walked up to him. That's why.
Yeah. He's like, please, I'm so sorry. I'm
sorry, man. And I was like, why did you do that? Why did you do that to me? And he was straight up. He goes, man, I felt bad about me, making you feel bad, made me feel good. I got a football scholarship to college. Didn't make the team, flunked out of school, became an alcoholic, got my girlfriend pregnant, hit her. She wouldn't let me see the kid. Here I am. I'm like, dang.
Christ.
If I could have knocked him out, life, knocked that dude out.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand, apologized, and walked away. And I was like, wow. So when you think you're going to knock somebody out, life gives you the elbow and might take it over for you. So I couldn't have done anything but life could have done.
I think I'm so petty that I'd be like, let me help you as much as I can and get you as healthy as you can so you can see me shine, brother. Because I need you to be on it so you can see me. I did this for a reason. I did this for a reason.
Right.
I did this to show you.
I friended him on Facebook so he can see me.
There it is. That's what that's what I would have done. I'm like, hey, let's be friends. I hope you're doing well. And, just so you can see me doing better.
Yeah. It's funny. Chris Rock said one time, he goes, when anybody that gave me a hard time in high school, he's like, one time I came in on the airport and I got picked up by this driver and the guy's like, oh my God, you're Chris Rock. I went to high school with you. And he goes, dude, he hated this. Chris Rock hated this guy. And he goes, he thought about talking about how he's a nobody and he's a nothing, he's a driver. And he goes, you know what? I gave him every dollar I had in my pocket. I tipped him like $1,000 just because I'm me, you're not me. And look where I am, look where you are. Hey man, it's good seeing you again. Here's $1,000. It's nothing to me. That's just stuck with me. It did.
I think that would probably hurt me a little bit if I was the person driving the car and Chris Rock got in the car and was like, here's all my money. I think I'd have to take it, but I'd be hurt. I'd be like, "Oh man, this is really hurting my feelings."
I mean, if this guy's got $1,000 in his pocket, and I gotta work a month, to make this dude's got just walking around and cash in his pocket,
making jokes. Yeah,
right. That's humbling, man. It is.
That's great.
I really love how it feels like you picked the healthier of the two options. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Obviously physically, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's that's what's crazy, and I've we've all made our mistakes and we've all done those done some things, what's interesting is I've learned that this is what I can control. Okay, so no matter how much money you make, no matter what you accomplish, we're all on the same level. I don't care. The Rock, for example, he busts it every day, regardless that he's worth $600 million. He's still got to wake up and work out, or he will lose it. Okay, and that's an equal playing field. Okay, now granted, he might be 6'5" and I'm 5'8", but it doesn't matter. I will lose it if I stop. If I want to get lazy and like, well, I got a bunch of money now, so I'm going to eat whatever I want, then I'm going to look it. And that is what I love about working out, is because you truly get out what you put in. And the more you learn about it, the more you got to challenge yourself. Your body acclimates to diet, to different workouts, and you've got to go to another level if you want to get to another level. And if you don't, you slack. I'm going to run into one of those high school kids that says, "Damn, Barnes, you're getting fat and bald." You know what I mean? So, because they'll tell me straight up. So you got to be in good shape. You got to stay with it.
Yeah.
How's your golf game?
Actually, it's not what it was, but I'm still a single-digit handicap, which is cool. So,
Wow.
I play golf with my dad all the time, and we try to get out a couple days a week. So it's good. See, it's hard to do that in New York, man. It's
Yeah, it
hard
is.
to do that in New York.
They got indoor hitting ranges, but I don't. It's not
Golf.
the same.
That ain't
Back in Indiana, I actually lived basically on a golf course. Never played it that much until I moved to until I went to San Diego. I played golf for the first time getting off a range, actually like a whole 9-hole game.
Yeah.
And you know what? I had this whole bougie thought process of it, but then I actually played it and was like, the nerd in me loves it. Like, it's so geographic. Like, there's so much like land you have to know about.
Yep.
And the nerdy part of me really enjoys, like, if I would want to be a caddy just because I get to like look at the land, not so much.
I mean, you got to be a geographer, you got to be, a meteorologist and an athlete all at the same time. I mean, the barometric pressure, depending on the heat, the how much moisture's in the air, all this type of stuff affects the way the ball travels. And yeah, the best players in the world are the biggest freaking nerds in the world, and it's just because they know about all of it. It's true. It's true.
That's about
Before you go, I just wanted to ask the flip side of the theme. Instead of awkward, we're also talking about people getting themselves into predicaments.
Uh-huh.
Do you have one or two of those?
Man, you know what? If your life isn't made up of a string of predicaments, you ain't living. That's kind of the way I see it. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I do have one. So I remember I was 22 years old at the time, and I remember in college I studied philosophy and stuff, and I remember Epictetus said, "For that which you don't control doesn't affect you," right? So I remember saying, you know what? Anytime I see a girl that I want to ask out, I gotta ask her out, no matter what. Okay, so and I'm thinking, how hard can that be? And it is amazing when you see her. Everything in you will say, "Oh man, she's probably got a boyfriend," or you know what, man, you don't need to ask her out, or she might say no. And I committed to myself, I have to do it. I see this girl at the gym, and sure enough, I have committed to myself, if I see her, I got to ask her out. She comes up, and I said, "Hey, let's go out Saturday night." And I knew I faced that moment, faced that fear. I mean, yes was coming out of her mouth, and she said, "No, I got to go. I ain't doing it. We ain't going out." And I remember thinking, I'm the man. Like, I felt so badass because I didn't care what she said, because I couldn't control whether she said yes or no. It was, I said I would do it, I did it. And I try to put that same mindset to everything. I can't control whether she says yes or no. So I was like, the truth of the matter is, she was probably intimidated and probably figured I was married or something. That's why she said no. So you can tell yourself whatever you want. But that changed my life, dude. No doubt. It really did. That was a fun time. Felt so good getting rejected because I did what I said I would do.
You're not afraid to take chances.
No. And dude, if you're an actor, if you're in real estate, that's all you do. I don't care what you do. If you're not taking chances, you ain't living. and you're not creating opportunities. Oh God, and even worse, the opportunities are there and you're not capitalizing on them, and life's just passing you by.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. No, if I get a long talk about philosophy. I'm really big into philosophy myself.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
all that stuff.
That's cool, man. See, look at that. You got the different country in New York talking to a different country in Texas.
Yeah.
And we still got
Look at
common
that.
ground, man.
Somehow, I ain't never seen red clay or red dirt.
That's what this is, man. That's got this red dirt in my beard, man. That's Texas right there.
I love that, man. We've passed 8:30, so we got to get wrapping up soon. But I'm so glad that you came on, Ryan. Super
Hey,
happy
man,
to have
I
you.
appreciate you guys having me. I had a blast. It was good. It's nice
Really?
talking to somebody with some substance, man, and not being afraid to delve into some awkward subjects or uncomfortable subjects and making them comfortable. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been
You're a
fun.
very enjoyable guest. I
Well,
enjoyed listening to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. See
Have
you,
a good
man.
night.
Thank you. You too.
And guys, I'm going to cut out now.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer you're planning on staying on, but
No.
I'm
That's
not.
it's
Yeah. I'm not
past
far.
8:30. I promise you guys we're good. I think Valerie and Joe, they're no goes for today, right?
Joe's been on before, right? He just didn't want to today.
No, he hasn't been on before.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different Joe. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Fraud.
Well, it's been a good episode, guys. I'm super
Yeah,
I
happy.
think this was one of the best podcasts that we've done.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
I'm so
enjoyed
sorry
it,
I was so
especially
late.
No, it's
being able
fine.
to see the guest. It's great,
Yeah.
and we had good people.
Yeah, we had really
Yeah.
good guests. Tracy was adorable. Karen was super nice. Timothy was really, really fun. Good stuff.
Oh, Valerie just emailed me. Sorry, got times mixed up trying to connect.
Girl, go
Oh,
to
poor
sleep.
Val. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I guess should we just do our little outro?
Yeah.
I love
I'll
you,
try never
Brandon.
be late again.
Nah, no, I was supposed to say I love you, Grandpa.
I know. That's why I
Messing up
jumped
my
in.
flow of it. All right. That has been another episode of Grandpa and Chill. I want to thank Finest Jackson. His hair looks amazing today. It's totally worth it cut. Our amazing producer, Sierra.
Pew, pew.
And as always, I love you too, Grandpa. So
And I really enjoy working with you, Finest and Sierra.
Thank you.
Great job. Thanks.
yeah.
Igualmente.
Doesn't he look good today? He looks good today.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do. look
You've
very
been
good.
dressing up
talking
more
about
and more
me?
every episode. Yeah, you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Podcasting with Grandpa Bart and Rosie, always on his shoulder. This is Grandpa and Chill.
Grandpa and Chill is brought to you by your hosts, Brandon Fox, Bart Frank, and Finest Jackson. Our producer is Sierra Doss. You can find episodes old and new on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch the show, and follow us on Twitter for behind-the-scenes moments you can't get anywhere else.